federal agents on D.C. streets.
Alleging the city is too crime-ridden.
Wisconsin floods.
Power outages, damage to cars, trees that were uprooted.
Israel targets a reporter.
5 Al Jazeera journalists were killed in this tense.
Good morning, I'm Steve Kathan. With the CBS World News Roundup, federal officers are patrolling the streets of Washington, D.C. as part of a Trump administration crackdown. The president says they're needed to fight crime. Local leaders beg to differ. Here's CBS's Scott McFarland.
Agents from the Washington field office of the FBI are now among the federal law enforcement visibly out on the streets as part of the president's initiative that he says would make D.C. safer, alleging the city is too crime-ridden. Local leaders say crime is down 35% in the nation's capital over the past year, so are violent crimes, and that this is political.
A judge this morning denied a request to unseal transcripts from the grand jury that indicted Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's former girlfriend. Now to the nation's midsection, and heavy rain that triggered severe flash flooding. CBS's Tom Hansen tells us the Milwaukee area was especially hard hit.
Brian Baxter rushed home after his daughters called in the middle of the night, but he was unable to reach them.
I was shocked by what I saw.
When I first saw it, the water was coming up towards the garage, so I called my dad, and I was a little bit nervous since they weren't home.
Sunday morning, the Baxter sisters were rescued by boat and reunited with their father. In Franklin, a teen caught in rising water on the Root River was rescued by the local fire department. That river set a new record height Sunday, reaching 11.7 feet. And dozens of water rescues were reported around southeastern Wisconsin, 65 of them in Milwaukee.
This could be a crucial period in the effort to end Russia's war in Ukraine. CBS's Weijia Jiang reports President Trump plans to meet Russia's Vladimir Putin in Alaska later this week.
Friday's summit will mark President Trump and Vladimir Putin's first in-person meeting since 2019. Laying groundwork for the summit, Vice President Vance met with the Ukrainian delegation and the UK's foreign minister in London over the weekend. One sticking point will be the question of territorial concessions and land swaps.
We're going to get some back. We're going to get some switched. There'll be some swapping of territories to the betterment of both.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky declared Ukrainians will not gift their land to the occupier. And several European leaders said in a joint statement, "We remain committed to the principle that international borders must not be changed by force." On Face the Nation, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte said the purpose of the summit is for Trump to gauge whether Putin wants to negotiate.
My absolute conviction on Friday is that this is President Trump making sure that Putin is serious. And if he is not, then it will stop there. If he is serious, then from Friday onwards, the process will continue. Ukraine getting involved, the Europeans being involved.
The Wall Street Journal reports Intel CEO Lip-Bu Tan plans to visit the White House today. Last week, President Trump called on him to resign, calling him conflicted. And several published reports say the semiconductor giants NVIDIA and AMD have agreed to pay the federal government 15% of their revenue from selling AI chips to China. A 90-day pause on imposing higher tariffs on China is due to expire tomorrow. It's not clear if it will be extended after the most recent round of China-U.S. trade talks last month in Stockholm. Chinese and U.S. officials said they expected that deadline to be extended for another 90 days. In the Middle East, Israel says it targeted a journalist it claims led a Hamas cell in a drone strike that killed 5 near a hospital in Gaza City. Correspondent Deborah Patta says it comes as Israel has plans to take control of that city.
An Al Jazeera crew, including correspondent Anas al-Sharif, was targeted in an Israeli strike in Gaza City. The IDF claims Sharif was the head of a Hamas cell, but just over 2 weeks ago, the New York-based Committee to Protect Journalists said it was gravely worried for his safety. They believed Sharif was the target of an Israeli military smear campaign based on unsubstantiated allegations.
And another country is taking steps to recognize a Palestinian state. Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese.
At the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in September, Australia will recognise the state of Palestine.
Coming up on 5 minutes after the hour.
Well, that's today's news. I didn't hear any good news, did you? It's 59 degrees in Fremont, California. I guess it's all about perspective. The glass is half full. Well,